In the year 2198, the shadowy US government faction known as the Enclave resumed research on their take of the pre-war world's most deadly creation, power armor. And by 2220, 22 years later, they had created a revolutionary piece of post-war technology. This new armor was considerably sleeker than previous models, and as such, it needed a name to fit that, so they aptly named it the Advanced Power Armor Mark 1. Join me in today's broadcast as we turn the burnt pages of history and discover the intriguing lore of this impressive Enclave-made power armor.
There are tales littered all across the wastelands of the old world. Within these tales are secrets, knowledge, and legends waiting to be told. I've traversed the boneyards of once great cities to collect these chronicles of post-apocalyptia. Some of these stories are beyond logical reasoning. Are these just radiation-poisoned brains conjuring up these myths, or is there some truth to be found in them? Only you can decide, as we step into the haze of Wastelord's legends.
The Advanced Power Armor Mark 1, or the APA Mark 1 as I like to call it, is one of the Enclave's most iconic armors. This armor was the Enclave's first mass-produced power armor that was officially used in their military ranks, making it one of their most easily recognizable models. Created and mainly found on the West Coast, this armor was made by the Enclave in their prime during their occupation of Control Station Enclave, a massive oil rig housing their top researchers and engineers. Despite taking decades to create, it is essentially an upgraded and refined version of the X-01, much like the T-60 is to the T-45. Some notable differences is that it no longer requires a fusion core to be ran, and instead relies on its own personal mini-nuclear reactor. While some models of power armor have the ability to do this, such as the T-51 with its TX-28 microfusion pack, it seems as though this model doesn't have the ability to do both, as from all the models of the Mark 1 I have found, none have been converted to use fusion cores. Which makes sense, as the Enclave spared no expense when designing this suit. As I mentioned before, this armor is essentially a slimmed up version of the X-01, as it forgoes the pauldrons on its shoulders and emphasizes the hump on its back, making it far less chunky than its predecessor. While the armor is a much lower profile than the X-01, it still keeps many of its design, such as the similar overall shape, familiar beak on the mouthpiece, exposed tubes on the top of the helmet, and the leg design, as well as the headlights as the eyepieces, which became a notable feature of all Enclave-made power armors. Like the X-01, the helmet of the Mark 1 uses polarized eyepieces that allow for improved visual awareness and a more intimidating look. This armor is also much lighter than previous models, as it is composed of lightweight metal alloys and is reinforced with ceramic castings at key points, giving it increased mobility while keeping it more protective than previous armors. Like all the power armors before the Mark 1, it rests upon a hydraulic frame that gives the user incredible strength, immunity to fall damage, and a gyroscopic stabilizer to keep them on their feet. Additionally, the armor has headlights, an air filtration system, communication system, waste filtration systems, protection from radiation, and the ability to scare off enemies who are imbued with common sense. The Mark 1 is an excellent model, as it has extremely great protection, even surpassing the mighty T-51B in both physical and electrical protection, as well as being lighter and more agile. It is also more protective from humans than the T-51B because it is much less sexier. While this armor is amazing in many ways, there are a few noticeable weak points to it. First off, the helmet has many tubes on it, and unlike the T-series, these are in easier to hit places, such as on the top of it, making it a vulnerable target. These tubes are also much more prominent and exposed, furthermore giving the opponent an advantage when fighting this model. The next possible weak point is its reactor being exposed on the back. Although this is just the cooling area, it looks as though if it was damaged, it could seriously debilitate the suit. Furthermore, it glows, giving away its position from the rear. Despite this fan not being great for combat, it is rather aesthetically appealing. When it comes to variants of this armor, there is only one, that being the Tesla model. The Tesla model was primarily issued to Enclave officers stationed at the Navarro military base. This version of the Mark I is equipped with power nodes that give off a greenish-blue glow, as well as some with a yellowish-orange glow. These act as conduits for dispersing electricity across the outside of the armor. This variant allows users to be more effective with energy weapons, likely acting as a battery to improve weapon damage or help power the weapon. I'd also imagine it could be quite a shock for melee attackers, as well as help disperse energy attacks, or even perhaps be used to absorb incoming energy to help power the suit. The APA Mark I is quite an impressive feat of ingenuity, as it was the first distinctly recognized Enclave power armor, and it made people fear the Enclave, as well as the sight of vertibirds in the sky. While the Advanced Power Armor Mark I might be an ugly duckling when it comes to the other model's looks, it is undeniably one of the most effective armors of them all. Folks, thank you so much for watching this video on one of the coolest power armors out there. Now that we have covered the lore of this armor, we can look at the actual facts from outside the games. First off, this armor was first seen all the way back in 1998 with the release of Fallout 2. It was only seen back again in 2010 in Fallout New Vegas. While some may see this armor as the X01, there are just too many differences, as well as a name change to make this true, as well as in Fallout 76 pretty much fixing all of the confusing retcons from Fallout 4, through many ways, but in this case by making X01 inferior and only a prototype, as it should be, especially with its name, as military projects beginning with an X mean experimental. Unfortunately, we have yet to see this power armor make a return, but hopefully we will get to see it in the next Fallout, perhaps with a fusion core, or more ideally, without one, and instead relying on its own personal nuclear reactor. Another fact about this armor is it is the second power armor to be introduced in Fallout, and as such, it is almost as iconic as the T-51B, despite only being in 2 of the games. Alrighty Wastelanders, that has truly been all I have to say on the Advanced Power Armor Mark I. If you would like to see more videos like this, I have a whole playlist dedicated to power armor lore. If you enjoyed this video, however, be sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing, as I will be releasing more lore videos on power armor, with the next being the Advanced Power Armor Mark II, which even has more confusing and just annoying lore, to be honest. It's a headache making, but I almost have the script completely written, and I've been sick, that's why I haven't been able to release it. But with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, and may the Wasteland treat y'all with peace and prosperity.